shot during the event. Look. Trump ally Charlie Kirk shot during the event. My God. Right-wing activist. Video circling on social media of him getting struck while speaking, sitting beneath a tent. Oh my God. Why? At a university event. Fucking dude. I don't want to pay in all of that. BBC. We must all pray for Charlie Kirk. That's what Trump's saying. Damn. Single shot was fired at Charlie Kirk and suspect is in custody, school says. Utah Valley University has released a statement saying a single shot was fired on campus toward a visiting speaker. Why? Why would they do that? Got to put it in the title. Madness. You know what I'm saying? With these fucking guns and that, you kill each other, innit? That's what happens. You end up killing each other. It's like, and it's not the people that, I mean, it's not the guns that kill the people, it's the people, innit? Who is Charlie Kirk? Charlie Kirk is a conservative commentator and podcaster host with millions of followers. He's best known for the founder of Turning Point USA, a non-profit that seeks to spread conservative ideas to students on US campuses. That's why I remember seeing him. I remember seeing him from them ones. I've reacted to a few like clips of his, either through Araco or one of the homies like that, or Poor Man's Podcast or something like that. And he's like, you know, what's a woman? That's the stuff that I've seen him do. So what? One of them? No, man, that's deadly. What, one of them women's? Them man but woman done it. Just shot him. Why? Kirk is a fervent supporter of President Donald Trump. Well, they've shot him, haven't they? Mega influencer shot at a university event. He's got a kid, isn't he? I know it. I've heard him talk about his kid, Charlie Kirk. Don't know what caps are on. Yeah, it won't have anything on it, like, because it's fresh.
For far too long, Americans have been forced to put up with Democrat-run.
No, this is all. It's all clips.
Way down close on the side, and the first interaction.
Mike Lee of Utah have said that there was an incident there. The school as well said that there was apparently shots that had rung out while Charlie was speaking. But again, this has all happened in the last few minutes, so we want to make sure we're
so is it like a they-them?
Right when we report all that news out to you.
Like they've been pushed to the brink and they're gonna like kill him. Huh? What? Why?
Hallie Jackson is joining our coverage now. Hallie, I remember Charlie Kirk speaking at the Republican National Convention just this summer, talking about his young children. He's a married father with 2 young kids, and just talking about how much time he was spending both campaigning for the president, but also trying to be a dad as well. And he is somebody who is not afraid to sort of mix it up with people, especially on college campuses. He enjoys doing that, debating people and defending President Trump's policies. It's unclear what happened here, what the motive was here.
Maybe that was the angle, isn't it? Like, so obviously it's like for the Trump shit, not the what's a woman shit. But
in some type of capacity is what it looks like.
Capped up, man.
College campuses, in so many ways, are his bread and butter, Tom. As you well know, he'll
be like a hero.
Conservative MAGA activist movement. He is a name that anybody in politics would know, which is why the news of this report coming out is so stunning. I want to share with you a bit, Tom, and I'm just joining our coverage here. We've been working here in Washington, around the country, to report out what we know here. I can tell you that former Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz was at this event. I believe you played a little bit of sound from him earlier. I just want to go through some of what he has said publicly now. Jason Chaffetz out about this incident, said that he heard one shot. It came after Kirk was apparently asked, or there was a question at this event specifically about transgender shooters, according to former Congressman Chaffetz.
About what? Transgender shooters? Huh?
At that point, he said he did not see blood. He did not see Charlie Kirk getting hit, but he did see Kirk immediately fall backwards when he heard that noise. You've been playing this video here of that crowd dispersing rapidly. Kirk, very well known again in Republican politics, which is why it is not at all surprising, Tom, to see that the president has made a statement about Kirk. Donald Trump knows who Charlie Kirk is. President Trump knows Charlie Kirk. You talk about the Republican convention. That is one of many times that Kirk has delivered speeches, has campaigned on behalf of Republicans, on behalf of conservatives. We also know that the FBI, Director Kash Patel, has posted about this, has talked about this as well, saying that agents are headed to the scene, that they are aware of what happened. These reports here that they are investigating, obviously, and that the FBI stands in full support.
Didn't they say that someone was caught, someone was in custody?
Of that ongoing response. This has...
we'll see as it unfolds, I guess.
The report of this shooting here has spread like wildfire throughout the conservative community, and everybody wants to know how he's doing. We're working on that.
Hallie, stand by for us. We have another bit of news here that we've just gotten in now that NBC News has confirmed. This is our reporter, Michael Cosner, who's reporting this. A suspect is in custody, and police are investigating the shooting at Utah Valley University. Students are alert this afternoon, obviously told to be aware and probably shelter in place. We have a witness now who's joining us by phone. His name is Justin Hickens. He apparently was at the scene of the shooting. Justin, what did you see? What did you hear?
I was about 20 away on Charlie's left.
Mate, what the fuck is he speaking through? A pile of shit.
I had gotten there probably just a few minutes before noon. There were thousands of people there. Unfortunately, there was no metal detectors. There was security by Charlie, but anybody could have shown up with whatever. Unfortunately,
So this is him in the tent. Look how much people show up.
Down close on the side. And the first interaction...
Kind of reminds me of that guy. You know that guy that used to do the desk, like, change my mind vibe? That's what this Charlie Kirk reminds me of. He's like one of them guys. But I guess, I don't think it would have been, a they, them or whatever, jokes aside and all of that, that would have shot him. I don't know, though. But most probably it's because of his... political shit that he says. I've not heard political stuff from him. I wasn't aware. All I see clips of him saying to people, what's a woman and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, but damn, people now getting shot.
10 minutes. It was a religious-related exchange. And then who stepped up, ironically, coincidentally, who asked a question about mass shootings. And about 60 to 90 seconds in, we heard a big loud shot.
I can't hear nothing, mate. Guys, literally he's muffled, like, between him and the mic is a pile of poo. Like, I can't hear him, bro.
I saw a bunch of blood come out of Charlie. I saw his body kind of kick back and go limp, and everybody dropped to the ground. And luckily there were no other bullets sprayed into the crowd because nobody was really able to go anywhere. It was just like a big... open amphitheater, outdoor venue.
Yeah,
and
in there.
Lots of screaming, lots of yelling, lots of bodies on top of each other.
This when it happened.
And after a couple minutes,
and there like no clips of it.
Kind of running, getting out of there. There was some.
Where would it have been from? From up high?
Some gates, some barriers that had been pushed aside and knocked over, and people were able to move.
React straight away.
And I started to move quickly, and then kind of...
You kind of see these guys, like, look over that way. These guys, they're, like, looking over here to the right.
Realize that...
Like, here.
I said, I think we're okay, and I kind of stopped walking away, and I kind of, all of a sudden, the officer's walking with this very elderly gentleman with white hair, and they had him arrested.
Oh, what, like elderly white man arrested?
About his rights
This is madness.
and all that stuff, and they cuffed him and put him away, and 30 other people said, yeah, that's the guy, that was the shooter, and people had said that they had seen him there early. He got to the event really early.
What the suspect now? Yeah, is this what the guy who got arrested is saying? He's got there early. Oh, mate.
Walking around talking to a lot of people, just this elderly gentleman, but. All I got for you.
No, that's a lot, and I'm gonna keep you on the air with this because this is important. What you saw, people who haven't seen these events, these turning point events, these events with Charlie Kirk, people can go up. There's a microphone usually set up, and people can.
Yeah, look, it's something. It happens here. Everyone's scattering. The shots fired.
Try to debate him or bring up a question or a point.
Even the
set up
filmers
before
like
the shooting. What exactly was happening? Because you
something here. They look over to the right, like maybe that's the shot.
Touched upon that.
Well, I couldn't exactly tell how many, but I'm sure there was maybe 15 to 20 people in line to talk to Charlie, enough to where he probably felt like it was going to take a good while to get through everybody, and he had only gotten through one exchange with an individual, and honestly it was kind of getting drawn out a little bit too much. The crowd was getting a little restless, like, hey, we're talking too much on this religious topic, let's go to something else. And so finally they wrapped up, and then somebody else got up there, and like I said, for about 60 to 90 seconds there was an exchange about mass shootings, transgenders involved in mass shootings, and ironically that's when
Damn, that's when they shot him.
Shot went off.
And then when you heard the shot,
mass shootings, transgender mass shootings, and then he gets shot.
Did it sound like it was close, near to where he was speaking, or did it sound like he was coming from afar, maybe in the back of the crowd, or could you tell?
No, it sounded like it was the back of the crowd. Which was pretty wild. I don't know though. It's like it must have been closer, but then again, it's like if it was that close, how did nobody else, see this man pulling a gun out of his, side or pocket or whatever? So
once he was shot, once Charlie was shot, was there any first aid? Could you see? Do you know if paramedics were able to get to him?
Probably all mayhem in it.
Was there any type of sort of first responders on the campus?
Well, there were about 15 to 20 people, right behind him, whether that was security, whether that was medical, whether that was whoever. But as soon as he was shot, he, just kind of went limp, fell over, and then everybody just dropped and went down.
Damn, man.
And I had bodies on top of me, and I was just praying. I was just like, I hope there's not, a bunch of stuff spraying into the crowd here, because everybody's a sitting duck right now.
We sort of all witnessed what happened to President Trump when he was on the campaign trail in Pennsylvania, and what happened there. When this was happening, I mean, did it kind of register in your head, someone's trying to kill Charlie Kirk?
Oh, yeah, immediately. I mean, for a split second, you kind of like, wait a minute, is this really happening? And, you saw the amount of blood that came out upon the initial shot, and you knew that it did not look good.
Oh my God.
After he's shot and he sort of collapses back and people are everyone hits the ground and people are piling on top of you. We've seen some videos of sort of the mass hysteria to run out of there. When does that happen?
I think that probably started maybe about 10 to 15 seconds after. People give it a few seconds, realize there's no more shots being fired. Now's our time to take a chance and get out of here. And so I was a little, I stayed down a little bit longer, and then finally realized after probably a good minute and a half had gone by that there were no more shots. I was like, okay, I'm probably good to get up and make a move.
These things happen so fast, and you said in your head you weren't sure if it was real or not.
It's terrifying, isn't it?
I'm assuming you live in the state of Utah as well. You've
Correct.
likely heard gunshots before, rifle shots, buckshots, whatever it may be.
Oh, yeah.
It was unmistakable that what was happening as it occurred, right? But it happened so fast.
Correct.
I'm sure it could also be confusing.
Yeah,
Well,
and
look, I'm all
people were
running.
just packed in. People were shoulder to shoulder in there. I mean, it was when I first got
People
there,
falling
I
over
couldn't
each
even
other.
see the stage.
Like the panic would be deadly.
And I said, hey, let me try to. It was just me by myself, so I thought, let me try to, maneuver my way down closer to the side, and so that's what I ended up doing. I was just completely, to his left on the side wall, but got about 20 yards away. I mean, there was
look, people hiding and shit behind pots and that.
one person in front of me on the rail.
Yeah, and did the crowd seem welcoming? We see some red hats there. We know Charlie Kirk was a supporter of the president, one of his most vocal supporters. Was it sort of friendly to Charlie Kirk, or was it hostile?
I would say about 97, 98% friendly. There was a small faction up on a balcony with a trans flag and lots of different rainbow-colored hairdos. Interesting looking characters, let's say, that were kind of barking back and yelling and shouting. But for the most part, I would say 97, 98%, welcoming and friendly.
When we look at this shot right here that we're freezing because we don't want to show the moment that he was shot, but this is maybe a millisecond before that bullet apparently enters his neck. It doesn't look like he has anyone around him. I know you said there were people there that were sort of some kind of security, but at least around him, there was no sort of plexiglass, no kind of barrier. At least we can't see it. What do you remember seeing?
Nothing. I mean, yeah, maybe the closest individual was still, 20 feet away from him. I mean, he was just at his table and his chair yeah, so I'm actually surrounded by a bunch of SWAT. There's a bunch of SWAT people going through campus right now. I'm inside with a group of people that was pulled inside to, give testimony and stuff like that. So it's.
Justin, I do have another question. We don't know this area as well. Some of our viewers may not know this area as well. How far is the closest hospital, would you say, to the school?
Very close, actually. Couple miles. The Utah Valley Medical, it's one of the best hospitals outside of stuff in downtown Salt Lake, and that's just a couple miles away. So it's very close. You can drive there from here.
Maybe
if it's just me stopping at lights, I can get there in 5 minutes.
And then it has an emergency room.
There. Oh yeah, absolutely. Some of the best in the States.
Stand by for us for a second. I'm going to read a new statement we have from the university, which says, today at about 12:10 p.m., a shot was fired at the visiting speaker, Charlie Kirk. He was hit and taken from the location by his security. Campus police is investigating. A suspect is in custody. So this
oh my God,
kind of lines up with everything that you've been telling us, Justin, over the last 5 minutes or so. Going back to the suspect you saw, that elderly man who was being taken down, what else do you remember? Were you able to put eyes on him? Did you see any type of weapon, how he was dressed?
No, I mean, just all I saw was what you see in the video there. But by the time, I put eyes on him, he was already, basically in cuffs and had multiple officers surrounding him. And, but it looks like a collared shirt and, sorry, I got SWAT team people walking by me with with rifles out here. So it's a little interesting, but, yeah, man. Just
as you say that, we're actually
in the video.
Yeah, we're looking at a shot now, a live shot or some video from our affiliate KSL there that's showing just scores of police officers, first responders, emergency vehicles, almost sort of blocking and
in the neck, bro. Shot in the neck.
Of a perimeter around the school where this was. Was this sort of in the middle of the school? Was this the central of the school, or is this kind of an outdoor pavilion?
It's an outdoor amphitheater, basically, where he's set up is at the bottom level, and then there's basically crescent-shaped steps that kind of climb up and continue to rise up as you go back further and further away from the stage area.
Madness.
And then is this Charlie Kirk? I mean, I don't know how much you follow him. Is this your first time seeing him live, or has he been to this university or this area for a while?
First time seeing him live. I mean, I'd seen plenty of videos, plenty of videos online and on X and stuff, and was excited to come attend this event. He was supposed to come back at the end of September to Logan, Utah, which is a lot further away. So I was excited to attend this one and just kind of, see what was going on.
Yeah, and then if you could describe the moment again, just because some people may be tuning in right now. Justin, you said you were on the left side of...
So this is where the footage, I reckon, was filmed, that footage that we saw. They all look over this way. So where do you reckon the shooter is? Somewhere here. Isn't it? It's got to be someone back here. They all sort of look this way.
Where this happened, not too far from Charlie Kirk himself. Talk to us again about what you saw when you heard that first gunshot go off.
When I heard the first gunshot go off, all of a sudden I just saw an eruption of blood, come out of Charlie's chest, and then kind of his whole...
Imagine that's him there. I'm like in conspiracy theory mode now. Conspiracy theory. Imagine that's him there, that little mark right here. There's a little mark right here.
Body recoil and go limp, and it just took a split second, and I was like, is this really happening? Is it, and basically everybody just screamed and fell to the floor. But it looked like a lot of blood came out. A lot of blood was lost. It did not look good. It looked like, looked like a fatal shot. But I hope it's not. I pray that it's not.
Yeah, as you say this, and you mentioned prayer. We have a message now on X from the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, saying prayers for Charlie Kirk, an incredible Christian, American, and human being. May the healing hand of Jesus Christ be upon him. You were talking about a pretty graphic scene and a pretty violent injury. I don't know if you're a doctor or not, but from what you saw, I mean, how bad did this look? It sounds pretty bad.
It looked really bad. I saw a lot of blood leave his body instantly before, it's not like we heard a shot and we saw him fall to the ground. We saw a lot of blood leave his body instantly upon impact.
And did you hear more than one gunshot, or was it just one?
I couldn't remember if there was a second, but definitely the one. And luckily there wasn't more than, if there was a second one right away, I think it was just the one, but otherwise it wasn't any more than two.
And did it look like anybody else in the audience or anybody else with Charlie Kirk had also been hit?
No, it was just him, and then everybody went down, and then that was, as I'm sitting there with bodies laying on top of me, I'm just listening. I'm listening for more shots. That's the only thing I'm doing. I'm just like, okay, are there more? Are there more? Are there more? There's none. There's none. There's none. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
Must
and
be terrifying.
Just kind of playing that back in my mind and just thinking, I can't believe this is happening. How did this happen? How did we let this happen? How, just bummed there wasn't metal detectors or something. Because like I said, it was just everybody just kind of showed up and it was crowded. It was my guess is that there were probably at least 3,000 or 4,000 people there. It was incredibly crowded. You had people on rooftops, walkways, overpasses.
Yeah, Justin, I've asked you so many questions, and I'm realizing I haven't asked you an important question, which you were sort of alluding to there. I mean, have you just taken a second to think about what happened? You went there to watch somebody talk about politics in America, where there's freedom of speech, where democracy is still alive, and yet in the past couple of years we've seen some real horrific political violence, and you just witnessed it just steps from where you were.
That's the thing.
No, I'm just kind of taking it all in right now.
That's the thing. It's the shocking thing is that what the guy said.
No, unfortunately, it's I mean, it's
freedom of speech, and
it's very frustrating.
I'm not sure, man.
It's tragic, but there needs to be freedom of speech, there needs to be, toleration for all viewpoints. And unfortunately, this does not look good for a particular side. It's just sad, So obviously, this person who shot him was deranged, but it's just a sad day.
Justin, we thank you for being with us. I'm sure our producers are going to have you stand by for us. If we get any more information, we're going to kind of want your perspective. I do want to bring in our national law enforcement and intelligence correspondent, Tom Winter. Tom, what are you hearing from your sources about either the suspect or what happened there on the campus of Utah Valley University?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so Tom, it appears that one individual fired this shot, still clearing the campus. As you just heard from our eyewitness, a fairly incredible report from the scene. A SWAT team and other law enforcement currently going through the buildings of campus, obviously going through the grounds there that have now well been cleared out from the students. From the shot that you're looking at there on the left, which was taken moments before this shot was fired, into the upper chest neck area of Charlie Kirk.
Upper chest neck area. Deadly areas. The vital areas, man.
Conservative commentator.
Deadly,
right
man.
Now, we have not received official confirmation on the name of the individual that has been taken into custody, and if in fact that will ultimately be the individual that's been charged as a result of this incident. The condition of Kirk, as of this hour, is currently unknown.
Oh.
I will tell you, Tom, that everybody in law enforcement, in the intelligence, counterterrorism threat space, is paying very close attention to this shooting because it is part of a disturbing trend that they've been focused on, starting with the 2 assassination attempts against Donald Trump while he was running for office. You had the targeted assassination here in New York City of a healthcare CEO, an arson attack on the governor of Pennsylvania, a targeted shooting attack just several weeks ago. Last time you and I were on the air talking about a shooting like this on 345 Park Avenue. And right now, law enforcement, among other incidents, by the way, right now, top law enforcement officials in this country, state, local, federal, all paying attention to what is a disturbing trend, and it's this, that people are using violence to solve their differences or problems in these targeted shooting attacks. It is something that, from a terrorism standpoint, we've seen terrorists do this in this country before, and obviously abroad, but now individuals are acting out, instead of trying to solve differences in a democracy, are apparently trying to take it upon themselves to fire weapons at individuals or attempt to fire weapons at individuals, also using fire, as we saw with the Shapiro attack in Pennsylvania, and as we saw the attack on a group of elderly Jewish Jewish individuals in Colorado who were just supporting the hostages that were taken by Hamas, a fire attack there.
Crazy.
So this is top of mind. It's been a discussion I've been having with law enforcement officials all this week, and it is something that presents a very steep security challenge in this country, where you're on a campus, whether you completely agree with Charlie Kirk or not, is a place traditionally where speech has been a spot where it's happened, and now law enforcement...
There ain't no freedom of speech now, it seems like, innit?
Has to consider what type of event is going to draw this type of action, and how can we possibly defend it. Tom, it's an enormous challenge.
Well, yeah, and you talk a lot about the threats, and we've been seeing some of the reporting come in specifically around New York City because of what's happening both with Israel and Hamas, but also as we get closer to 9/11. But we are talking now about Utah, a state that is a red state, a state friendly to President Trump, a state that does not have very strong gun laws whatsoever. And a place we heard from our eyewitness that was very friendly to Charlie Kirk, right? Saying 97%, if not more, of the people in that crowd were supportive of Charlie Kirk. But when we talk about threats, Tom, are there still serious threats when it comes to people like Charlie Kirk? And I guess where I'm going here is that should there have been maybe more security, but it's also at the same time he was speaking maybe to a friendly crowd, so that wasn't necessary.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to take a look at when a crowd is friendly or not. It only takes one person in a crowd to create an environment like this. As a society, we have to really have a serious discussion now on how we're going to deal with this going forward. I mean, are we going to have...
Yeah, look, they have another angle here, but they obviously don't show us.
events where people try to speak at universities and they're surrounded by bulletproof glass. Could a university afford? Look at the size of that crowd, Tom. Could they afford the ability to use magnetometers and go person by person? I mean, when is an event enough?
Right.
We were just talking a couple of weeks ago about the shooting at the Catholic school in Minnesota. I mean, there the doors locked after once the services started, so there was even best security practices there, and still the individual fired through the windows. The big thing here, Tom, is the pace at which this is happening. You know, we used to have a couple of big mass shootings a year, which is obviously everybody knows is one too many. But now we're seeing these events happening with increasing frequency, and that also has law enforcement quite alarmed, Tom.
Well, besides these mass shootings, I mean, we're talking about real political violence here against either candidates for office, candidates who are, you know, lawmakers like we had in Minnesota where they were targeted inside their homes, literally shot at their front door. What happened to President Trump when he was on the campaign trail, the second attempt on his life, and now on this conservative activist, Charlie Kirk, who appears to have been shot in the neck while speaking to the vast majority of people. They're a friendly crowd at Utah Valley State University in a horrific manner that eyewitnesses are telling NBC News. There was a lot of blood, and it did not look good. And from the tweets that we are hearing, everyone across the aisle, whether it be Republican or Democrat, asking for people to pray for Charlie Kirk right now. I do want to ask you one thing. There are so many different angles of this. We actually have an angle of when the shooting happened. We're not going to show the actual moment of impact, if you will, when the bullet hits Charlie Kirk, but we can actually hear it. I want to ask our control room and our director if we can play that. I want to get your thoughts on the other end. Let's play it now.
Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
So we
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
stopped it there. You can hear the crowd. The audio kept playing. You can hear the crowd there. I mean, it is grossly ironic they were talking about mass shootings at the
That is so mad
time when this actually happened, Tom. But you got to think from an investigative standpoint. They have a suspect in custody. They're going to be looking at every angle of this. And so many people were shooting this because he has a massive social media presence, and people were live streaming this and posting these videos on on X, I should say, and Instagram and WhatsApp and everywhere else.
That's exactly right, Tom. I mean, I've seen 5 or 6 different versions of this video for obvious reasons. Out of respect to Kirk or any victim, we wouldn't show the moment of impact, certainly to their family as well, and his condition is not yet known. But yes, there's a lot of evidence here for law enforcement. There's obviously individuals, you can see them there in front, that appear to be acting in a security capacity. They were talking about shootings and shooting incidents prior to that single shot being heard. We don't hear any other shots being fired, at least on the videos that we've watched. Of course, that's not definitive, so we still need to get some more information about that. And it's not clear from the video, you know, witnesses can react different ways. They can look behind them, to the side of them. You got a number of buildings around there, the way that the sound travels after a shot is fired. So I don't want to speculate. It would be rank speculation to say where the shot came from. But obviously, this is an incident that certainly has people's attention. You know, you mentioned the political violence. I did not want to ignore or not mention, obviously, what we saw in Minnesota earlier this summer, state lawmakers being attacked there. So
let me see what's the latest here. Or is it the same? Is it still going around there on that? Is there any update on him?
For me personally, after I had not heard like any second shots.
Yeah, so this is the guy recounting it again, the witness. Well, that's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah. So what's happened?
I wasn't immediately worried. I didn't.
Capped him.
Which this is happening. You know, we used to have a couple of big mass shootings a year, which is obviously everybody knows is one too many. But now we're seeing these events happening with increasing frequency, and that also has law enforcement quite alarmed, Tom.
Well, besides these mass shootings, I mean, we're talking about real political violence here against either candidates for office.
That's what it is, isn't it? It's the political violence now. You don't really you don't really have a freedom of speech.